Here we're going to solve 4x minus 3 is greater than negative 23. The steps for solving an inequality are exactly the same as solving an equation. The only thing you need to remember is that when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you need to reverse the inequality sign. Because let's say if you have 5 greater than negative 6. So let's say if we multiply both sides by negative 2, we will get negative 2 times 5 gives us negative 10. Negative 6 times negative 2 gives us positive 12. And positive is greater than a negative, so you have to reverse the inequality sign to preserve the true statement. Now notice how dividing or multiplying by a positive number, for example dividing both sides by 2, will not affect the inequality sign because we get negative 10 divided by 2 gives us negative 5, 12 divided by 2 gives us 6, so inequality sign stays the same. So let's solve 4x minus 3 is greater than negative 23. If this was an equation, we would solve for x, so we will do exactly the same thing for an inequality. X is being multiplied by 4 and we are subtracting 3. So let's add 3 to both sides and we get 4x. Negative 3 plus 3 adds up to 0 is greater than negative 23 plus 3. Different signs, we look for difference. We have more negatives, so the difference is negative, and the difference between 23 and 3 is 20. X is being multiplied by 4. The inverse is to divide by 4. 4 and 4 will cancel and we get x is greater than negative 20 divided by 4 is negative 5. So this is our solution. However, you should be able to draw the solution on a number line and write the interval notation for it. So if we have a line, the solution point we are working with is negative 5. So we will have negative 6 around here, negative 4, all the way to 0 around here, then 1 around here. When you're graphing inequality on number line, you need to remember that when you have greater than or less than, you use an empty point because the number itself is not included in the solution. And if you have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, you use filled in point. And the reason we need to know the difference between those two is, let's say we have something is greater than 3 and something is greater than or equal to 3. In both cases, I can plug in 4 and I will get a true statement. However, if I use the number itself, 3, so 3 is greater than or equal to 3, that's a true statement. However, 3 is not greater than 3, so that's not a true statement. So this is what the empty and filled in point means. Since we only have greater than negative 5, let's use empty point. And to finish the graph, we need to pick a side to shade in. So you pick a point on either side to test, let's say 1. X is equal to 1. Is 1 greater than negative 5? Yes, it's a true statement. Or somewhere down the line, here will be x equals to 100. Remember, this x-axis is going all the way to positive infinity on this side and negative infinity on this side. So you can go as far as you want to pick a test point. So 100 is also greater than negative 5. So this is our solution. So for the interval notation, you will have to use parentheses or brackets. If you have greater than or equal to, you use parentheses. And for greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, you use brackets. The only thing to note that infinity or negative infinity, so infinity will be encased in the parentheses because it keeps on going and there is no final number in there to include in the answer. So once you have the number line, I prefer to start with the number line because it makes it easier to make a solution in a notation form. You go to the our answer, the number, was -5, so -5 is part of the interval notation, and from -5 we go all the way to positive infinity. So parentheses -5 comma positive infinity is our solution. That's all.